All right, Johnny, let's see. Johnny, when will you go to Mecca and Medina, my friend? You talk here every day. You talk every day. When will you go? Shaitan.
But him trying my best.
Johnny, when will you revert? My friend, Allah awaits you. All you do is sponsorships.
Today is not between India and Pakistan, or US and Mexico, or Syria and Turkey. Those are all very big, scary, long fences. But no, the longest border fence on Earth looks...
You guys got dog shit done out. Our shawarma is better. You take kofta though, it's so good. Shut the f up, dude. You're fucking crazy. Donut is the most OP form of that like kind of meat consumption. I like shawarmas too, don't get me wrong, but donut is literally the best. Like straight the fuck up, dude. Straight the fuck up. Donut number 1. Nothing is even number 2. Okay? At least we can all agree that heroes or gyros or whatever the fuck the Greeks call it is like literally bottom of the barrel underneath the fucking scale. Please don't forget to subscribe because a lot of people that watch my videos don't subscribe apparently, and hit that bell. Straight up. I will get so nationalist when it comes to doner, dude. Oh my god. Oof, lahmacun. Oof. Oh my god. Okay, we're done.
Like this.
Especially Berlin doner. Will admit, Turks in Germany make probably pound for pound better doner than Turks in Turkey do. I'll even admit that. I will allow that. As someone who's had both, straight up, Germans know how to fucking make doner, bro. It is crazy. They've got it down to an art. LMAO, you get killed for this. Like, the best doner place in Turkey is better than the best doner place in Germany. But a lot of German doner places, including like Mustafa's Gemüse Doner and places like that are like very famous fucking doner places in Germany, they have that shit on lock. I don't know how to describe it. It's like OP. It's crazy.
It's 5,600 kilometers long. That's like if you were to draw a border across the whole United States from LA to New York and then add another 1,000 miles. And this border fence doesn't even separate 2 countries. Instead, this fence stretches across some of the most remote territory on Earth. It goes through farmlands, deserts, across mountain ranges. But unlike most physical barriers that we use to divide countries, to keep people out, this long-ass border was built to keep out one very specific thing: dingoes.
We're here in southeast Queensland, and this is the start of the dingo fence. Now, the dingo fence was established in the 80s.
Wait, to stop them from eating your fucking babies? Is that why? Is that why there's a fucking dingo fence? Because they're eating all fucking... A dingo ate my baby.
Okay, can we just say something right up front? Do we all agree that Australia is pretty wild and like a pretty unique place? There's a reason for this. Back when all of this was happening, all of these continents were still attached to one another. But down here, Australia jumped the gun on the whole breaking apart thing, and it broke off from all the other land way earlier than the others.
Bye, bitch.
Because of this, all the plants and animals on the Australian piece of land evolved in isolation for a really long time, far away from anything else. When we talk about the 7 continents, it's like North America, Asia, Africa, and then Australia. Like, it's a country, but it's basically its own continent. This isolation resulted in...
Wait, is that why you guys got fucking super emus? Is that why you lost the fucking battle to the fucking emus? You lost to a fucking emu. Lost to a fucking bed.
90% of the wildlife in Australia being wholly unique to the continent. It doesn't exist anywhere else.
It's been a while since I've targeted Australians so aggressively. And I think, like, it's time. You know what I mean? They got way too comfortable in the community thinking, like, huh, oh, look at this fucking bloke making fun of the fucking Irish. Ha! It's pretty good, bro. You know what I mean? You Aussies, you think, like, oh, yeah, come to Australia, mate. About fucking time. Worst accent? No, it's not. It's so good. You're such a liar, dude.
And it stayed this way for a very long time until, of course, these guys showed up.
I refuse to believe that my Australian accent is bad. Like, I just refuse to believe
Another
it.
story of these guys. It's always these guys showing up from Europe. So the year is 1770, and humans have been living on Australia for like 70,000 years. But despite this, you get this guy who shows up and, quote, claims possession of the east coast of Australia for the British Crown. Soon,
He's fucking guy, not a good guy,
go to
bro.
Australia to set up their own colony. And this is where the whole pristine, unique ecosystem thing kind of starts to fall apart. So in addition to what these British people did to the native people who were living there for 70,000 years,
massacres as systematic as those practiced against the Jews in the 20th century.
the other thing the Europeans did when they arrived here was they brought all sorts of plants and animals and a desire to do farming, all the agriculture stuff that they had been doing back in Europe. Meanwhile, Australia's 120-year-old ecosystem is like, ugh, like SMH. Like, we had perfectly balanced our ecology.
Okay, that was literally a fucking opportunity for him to say, WTF, mate! And he didn't fucking use that. That's bullshit. WTF, mate? What the fuck are you doing, mate? Okay, that's bad.
And these guys are bringing camels? They also start growing a ton of non-native plants like sugar. And when they started growing sugar, there was one native species in Australia that was very excited. That native species looked like this. It's a grayback beetle who was stoked about the fact that these British people were growing sugarcane. So they just started to feast on all these sugar farms. So now the Europeans, now independent Australians, instead of being like, hey, maybe we shouldn't grow sugar here because every time we grow it, it gets infested by these beetles. Instead, they're like, let's go to Hawaii and get a bunch of frogs. The idea is that the frogs would eat the beetles and then the beetles would go away, right? But no, the frogs, or the cane toads specifically, had no natural predator in Australia, so they just exploded in their numbers, and they became a pest in and of themselves.
Hey, look! Those frogs are eating all our crops!
Okay, one more example here that I have to tell you about before I get back to the border fence. One more, because I can't not talk about this.
Why is their fucking form of pest control literally the dumbest way that you can do pest control, dude? It's like the Dale Gribble episode when he goes to Megalomart and has to fucking find the rat infestation and realizes that saxophone guy is like living in Megalomart. He's like, yeah, that's why I put out the rats. And then also I put out separately a raccoon. Fucking.
So back in 1932, emus, these like big giant weird birds,
Fucking emus!
And so the Australian government sent out the Australian
Oh no, the
Army,
disrespect. Oh no.
thousands
Oh
of
no. Johnny Harris is about to do disrespect to the entire continent, dude. Oh no. How the fuck will the Australians recover from this, dude? It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh, he's covering the emu war, dude. The great emu wars. Lost the fucking flightless birds, bro. We lost the fucking flightless birds. Emus.
rounds of ammunition to fight these emus.
Yeah, the only thing you got, the only defense Australians have, now need to talk shit as an Australian. I'm going to go to the doctors for free today. I don't even have to use my easy to acquire welfare to get there. The bus is free for me. All right, well, you still lost the fucking emus. Let me have this. As a fucking American.
And to kill them off so that they could control the population. The best part about the story is that the emus won the war. I need to make a video specifically about the emu wars because it's just too nuts. If you want me to do that, let me know because I want to do that. Okay, so those are all the ways in which the European settlers brought invasive species to this ecologically unique place and sort of started to mess with the balance. One of the big animals that the British brought over when they were settling Australia were these guys, sheep. Sheep have wool and meat and were a big deal in England, and so the Australians were like, why not bring them halfway around the world to Australia and start sheep farming? Sheep farming began spreading all around the country.
Why did the
as
British think, like-
Europeans settled in Australia? But the farmers started to realize that we're not in England anymore.
No, I know we're not in Kansas.
And their sheep were starting to disappear. And it turns out that they were being hunted and eaten by an animal with a very cool name, the dingo. Dingoes are kind of like ancient wild dogs. Man, ancient wild dogs, that should be like a character in an anime film. It probably already is. Dingoes like to eat kangaroos, and in doing so, as per how ecology and natural food systems work, eating the kangaroos keeps the kangaroo population at
Holy shit, they fucking eat kangaroos. How fucking vicious are they, dude?
bay. And this is very important so that we can avoid this happening too often.
He's getting mad that I'm trying to pet him. Okay, yeah, I'm done.
I'm videotaping.
No, I'm kidding. That's actually not the reason why it's important. It's important to keep the kangaroo population at bay because kangaroos eat vegetation and plants. And if they grow too large as a population, they'll eat all the plants, they'll mess with the food systems for other herbivores and the erosion and the soil content, etc., etc. The whole ecosystem relies on this balance of predator and prey.
We are all connected in the great circle of life.
So the dingoes are
Are dingoes even dogs? Dogs are apex fucking predators. Dingoes are if you took the average dog and let it live in the wild for a bit. I thought dogs... Wait, that's not even remotely true. No, if you let the average cat out and let it fucking thrive in the wild, it would be incredible. Cats are apex predators. Dogs are literally the dumbest. Like, domesticated dogs are way too fucking docile and way too stupid to survive in the wild. You are straight up wrong. Except for wild dogs who are not fucking like the domesticated dogs that we know and love at all.
important. But the Europeans didn't like the dingoes because they were showing up to the farms and eating.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if it's a dog without 10,000 years of being conditioned to be friendly, it's like basically a fucking wolf.
Their succulent lamb chops. This became a big problem.
But
And
domesticated dogs can't like magically flip a switch and automatically survive in the wild in the same way that cats can, because cats are actual fucking apex predators and dogs are not.
the farmers are like, how am I supposed to like raise my livestock here in this wild country with these dingoes running around eating my sheep? Meanwhile, Australia's 120 million year old ecosystem is like, deal with it, Liam, the sheep farmer. We've been crafting this wild ecosystem for a really long time, and we're not going to change it just so that you can have your lamb chops. And Liam, the sheep farmer's like, hold my beer. Oh, excuse me, hold my beer. I try not to, like, do accents because it's like kind of cliche.
Oh, Jolie! It was fucking worse than anything I could have ever done!
And I can't do accents very well, but
That was pretty good. Better accent than yours? Better than Hasan? Fuck you! You fucking wackers! I don't know if that's a term that Australians even use. Fuck you guys, dude.
I just love the way Australians
He literally
say
said,
beer.
hold my B.
There it is.
And thus begins another round of let's outsmart nature. So anyway, they start planning a fence.
You fucking
What if we
cunt!
cut off like a giant swath of this country so that all of the dingoes stay on that side of the fence and all the sheep farmers could stay on this side of the fence. So they built the fence. It took them 8 years to construct this massive fence, the longest
You
on
fucking
Earth.
dog.
And it worked. After they completed this fence, sheep deaths plummeted. And so now the farmers are very happy, and the Australian government is very happy because the farmers are happy. Meanwhile, Australia's 120 million year old ecosystem is not so happy.
Not happy, Jen!
Okay, so remember the kangaroos?
He's getting mad that I'm trying to pet him.
Yeah, so on this side of the fence, there's now no dingoes, which means no one to eat the kangaroos. So the population of kangaroos skyrockets. They start eating all of the grass and vegetation. This overgrazing has left little food for the smaller plant-eating animals, whose population is now declining. And now it's also messed with the natural nutrient cycle of the soil. So now stuff doesn't grow as well in all of these soils. This change in vegetation made it easier for wind to pick up sand and create these giant dunes, which then served as like a wall to redirect the wind patterns, which changes like the weather patterns, etc., etc., etc. You build one fence to protect sheep, and you trigger a ripple effect that throws off a balance in nature that had been literally hundreds of millions of years in the making. But to the humans, it is very worth it because the Australian sheep industry is worth $6.6 billion. The reason I'm making this video, the reason I'm fascinated with this fence isn't just because it's so long. Yes, I like borders and lines and maps, but I
hate that vegans are right so consistently.
Of this very European, Western, human-centric notion of humans controlling nature. We can engineer our way out of anything. The Western world has helped create this global culture that says that we, the humans, can do whatever we need to serve our needs, whether it's food,
and that's what's more important in the end of the day.
And in the process, we can ignore the needs of every other organism that shares the environment with us. And what we are seeing is that there's a cost to this. Over 1 million different species are set to be extinct in coming decades because of our activity, because we like to build fences to protect our sheep. And what's crazy is that it doesn't totally have to be this way. So much of our modern culture is sort of a blip on the map. Like, we just started this idea of going out and engineering our way out of nature. Remember that before...
How is he right? This is called Darwinism. Humans shape the world. Animals adapt or die. Why are people who always bring up Darwinism the first to die if there was actual Darwinism for humans, at least? Also, like, what you don't recognize is that he's literally talking about the ecological disaster that humans are causing on themselves by changing wind conditions, weather patterns, all this shit. Also, it's literally not Darwinism, but...
Before the Europeans arrived to Australia, the Aboriginals had been living there for 70,000 years with nature, not in spite of it. They didn't need to manipulate it for their own needs in a way that threw off the balance of these ecosystems. So far, we've been able to engineer our way out of quite a lot of things. But this experiment of breaking away from natural systems is brand new, and we have no idea how much longer the natural world will tolerate it before it really bites back against the humans and puts us in our place. And maybe this is the wake-up call we need to actually start to put into practice what indigenous communities have known forever, which is that the only way for long-term survival...
If you're a fucking fair dinkum fucking full-grown Aussie, this is what you'd have for breakfast, you fucking dog cunts. A fucking VB long neck.
This guy is literally me. Like, my accent is exactly like this guy. And anyone who says that my accent isn't real, my accent isn't like a real fucking Aussie accent, is just coping. Oh, you fucking dog cunts, you fucking coping!